Okay, so I'm still here with Jaime, and we are working on our research paper. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to set up our works cited page. So Jaime is going to navigate down to the research paper folder there, and we're going to jump to step 3, which is setting up your works cited page. So go ahead and open that folder there. And there's an assignment that's listed there. It says works cited page submission. So you're going to turn this in even though it's not done, but we're going to open it up, we're going to set one up, and you're going to turn it in immediately so that we have one on file. And then as we add more sources to it, we're going to update it, and then we're going to regrade it once we have all of the sources that we're using for this research paper. So Jaime already clicked on the assignment description, and as you can see there, it says you will need this template to create your works cited page. Go ahead and open up that document there. And it's going to ask you to make a copy, so go ahead and make a copy. So now this is saved actually in your Google Drive. And the first thing that we're going to do is in front of blank works cited page, we're going to get rid of copy of, and then we're going to replace it with your first and last name. That will allow me to search for anything that you've submitted in Google Drive in case anything gets lost. So that's what you're going to do with your works cited page. Now, if you're looking carefully at the works cited page that's given there, neither of you is actually you're not researching greenhouse gases or the science of climate change or anything like that. Those are resources that I put on there just as examples. What you're going to do is when you start getting your research sources, so when you do source number 1, which is the next step, and source number 2, which is the step right after that, you're going to get rid of the ones that I already have there, and you're going to replace them with the citations that are provided to you by the Gale database. But this is the setup for a works cited page. At the top of the page, this is works cited. The text is centered. You notice then the first source says greenhouse gases. Notice every line after the first is indented. This is known as a hanging indent. So there's like rules that we're going to follow when we actually do our works cited page. We need to make it look correct so that this is done according to MLA format. You can't just go out and like randomly research things. When we research and we write about them, we have to give credit where credit is due by having a works cited page. Secondly, we need to follow rules and have a format for that works cited page. And the citations that are currently listed there for greenhouse gases, and the other one by Oppenheimer and Tilla Hughes, those are examples of how you would cite your sources. The good news for you is that you don't have to look at a style guide to figure out how to put those things in the correct order. When you use the Gale databases that I showed in the previous video, they actually do it for you. And we'll go into more detail with that later. So the first thing that you're going to do is, even though those aren't your sources, you're going to turn this in because this is the one that you're going to be working with. So in the upper right part of the screen, you see the blue button that says share. You're going to actually share this assignment when you turn it in. Let's go ahead and click share. The exact same process we did before, and you're going to change from Fort Wayne Community Schools viewer, you're going to change that to editor, because you're going to want me to have editing rights when I start looking at your papers, because if there's bonehead errors, sometimes I'm able to fix them very quickly for you. Go ahead and hit copy link, and now the link is saved on your clipboard, and then go back to the assignment tab in Schoology. And then when you submit this assignment, you go ahead and click the submit button. And just like we did before, click on the create tab, and then simply paste that web address into the text field and then hit submit. So that's how you turn in your works cited page. Now, Jaime, we go ahead and click back on your works cited page that we're messing with right here. So, for the record, though, this isn't his works cited page yet. This has the sources that I provided. You're going to get rid of mine, and as we add more research to this, you're going to add more and more and more of your own resources accordingly. So, even though he's submitting this today, he's actually going to edit this when we start doing source number 1 and source number 2, source number 3, source number 4. So by the end of it, you're going to have a whole list of the sources ready to go. And I'll show you that on a source by source basis. The reason he's turning it in today is so that we always have it. The other reason that we have this, go ahead and close the tab just to illustrate. The one that you're always going to work with and mess with is the one that you have submitted. Don't make new copies of things. In fact, if he wants to access this particular one, go ahead and click on the Assignment Submitted button. And what it does is it shows him exactly what he submitted, and it's thinking, and then it's going to show him a direct link to his own paper. So go ahead and click on that, his own Works Cited page. So the reason that you submit it this way is so that you always have it. Whatever you submitted in Schoology is the one you're always going to be working on, and it's always going to be the one that I'm grading. We're going to continue to turn everything in for this research paper the exact same way so that nothing gets lost, everything gets done correctly. I can see your work as we are progressing through it, and that it's done correctly. Like if I can't see your work and it's jacked up, this is going to be a long process, at the end of which I'm probably going to have to give you an F. And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is a research paper, in addition to being about researching things and reading sources and summarizing what you read in those sources, is also an exercise in being able to follow directions. And I can't name a job on earth in which following directions isn't important. So that's kind of why we're doing things in a step-by-step fashion this way. All right, well, thank you for following along, and we're going to go ahead and open up and create our first Works Cited page, and we're going to save it. Thank you.